Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, you're tuned in to BeTerrific with continuing official coverage of CES 2017.
I got to welcome in our next guest. I'm very excited about this gentleman. His name is David Rogers, and he's from a company called Elite Screens. Elite Screens, what's that? Well, Elite Screens are the screens we've been using all week here at CES to give us the beautiful backdrops of Las Vegas, of the actual convention center, and of those video effects we've put up. We could put up anything on these screens thanks to Elite Screens. So let me explain this. These are rear projectors behind us so that nobody walks through the shot and we don't have shadows. That's hard. That's number one. We're using ultra short throw projectors, and we're casting the image from the ground up on these screens. And then we're using Pro Video Player, which is a software running off of Mac, to control these screens, or the projectors really. Now, this is a very hard environment. We have all these lights from the convention center, and here we have to roll with the convertible top, the pirate ship, as you guys know. We can't have our tent top on, which shields us from the light normally. So we've got all this light pouring in from the convention center, and all this light pouring in that's all sorts of colors from the sides, from all the neon lights behind us. And then we have all our on-camera lights in here. It's all very bright, shining on this, yet this backdrop looks sharp and great. Look how good it looks on camera. So that's because David Rogers and Elite Screens have made a perfect screen for this kind of use, for mobile applications, and for hard lighting environments. Again, this is a rear projection screen, and we love it. This is the first time we've used it, and we're in love.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You're using, like I was saying in the break, you're using this exactly as we intended these to be used. They're really for portable presentations, media events, any kind of large club or hospitality venue, and I just love the fact that it looks great and it served you so well.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for creating it. And I'm going to have Kevin go in the back right now and change it to a step and repeat, the BeTerrific step and repeat.
Sounds
and
good.
I'll tell you why in a second. It's a little bit of a throwback. The Terrifics will understand this, but our normal backdrop is what I want to show the Terrifics and you what it looks like, just to kind of bring them back for a second and to show you what it would look like all the time if we didn't have Elite Screens here. So we're on this balcony high atop Central Hall, but there's a rail that's pretty high. So our camera shot can't get behind you looking down, but we've been able to have a live shot and all sorts of stuff. I actually want, Kevin, the step and repeat, not the graphics, the BeTerrific logo. Let's see if we can get this up. We've got some crazy stuff going on here.
It's looking.
Maybe, there you go. So that's what our normal backdrop here at CES would look like, or at the New York Auto Show, or any other event that we go to. The only difference is it would be wrinkled, because our backdrops, they don't travel that well, and they get wrinkled. And we can't pull them as tight as we can pull the Elite Screen. So first of all, we got rid of all the wrinkles. But look at this, now we're in the regular set. By the way, I've promised the Terrifics I'll put up the Terrific logo tomorrow for a little while. We'll put up the Terrific logo the entire time. So first of all, this looks better than our normal setup.
Sure.
All right, then without the wrinkles. And we can add things like CES Media Partner for each event. So when you say clubs or media events, this is what you're talking about.
Exactly. That's exactly. I couldn't have paid somebody to set up as far as to this level. I mean, to see that you just kind of went out, did it on your own. You didn't ask me for any assistance on it, which is awesome. It's good to see people where they don't even need instructions. It just goes up, looks great, that's it.
Well, David Kleinstein has to take all the credit for that. It was his dream and his desire and his idea. You know, obviously I loved it and endorsed it. And we talked about using other services, and we tested some other services. And you know, he came to me with the budget of what this would cost, and I said, you know what, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right.
Sure.
Let's do it, and it was very reasonable. Now, some people could say you could do this with LED, and you could. The problem with using LED in this environment is we're too close to the LED, and we wouldn't get enough separation. And even on, let's say, a 0.9 screen, you'd probably see some pixelation, and it wouldn't be as clean. As much as I love LED, this is a better use in this scenario.
I completely agree.
So this is our normal backdrop, right? And this is what it would normally look. And tomorrow I'll put up the Terrifics logo and represent them. And I wish I had it now and had the time to make it. And we'd, think of it. They brought it up yesterday in the Slack chat. And we'd have it up now because we love them. Well, let's go back to Vegas. I like being in Vegas, and that's fun. We get some movement back there, all sorts of stuff. So, Kevin, if you don't mind, thank you very much.
Go.
And by the way, that's the best that the BeTerrific backdrop has ever looked. So Yes, David Kleinstein did a great job, and he did call customer service for a couple of questions, and they were great and gave him great advice. That's a testament to you guys. So this is great for all sorts of mobile setups like we've talked about.
Right.
And certainly if you wanted to do this in your backyard, it could work there too, but there might be something that's better for the backyard.
Well, there's a whole bunch of options that we have. And if you've got a little bit of ambient light, I mean, when you're projecting outside, you definitely want to do it dusk, you want to do it near dark. That being said, rear projection's a good one if you're afraid of people walking between the projector and the screen. Our white materials are superb. And they're designed for being outside in that heavy use, set up quick, take down quick. You don't have to worry about the hassle of mechanized inflation units that kind of blow up a balloon screen. Those are a cool design. A lot of moving parts. The more moving parts you have, the more opportunities for failure you have. So we really try to keep it simple and keep it available to the everyday person. You know, most of us can't afford to throw out a fortune for a really good video display, but you shouldn't get a cheap, cruddy video display.
Now in this environment, we have some amazing projectors, but in this environment we're using 3300 lumen, ultra short throw Canon 585W, so you can go buy that. They're not the cheapest projector in the world, but they're not the most expensive. What I think is important, and you tell me if I'm wrong, one thing that Epson does that's really nice is they do not only your lumens, your ANSI lumens, but they do their color lumens as well. And they usually match. A lot of times companies will have, you have 3,000 lumens, but you only have 500 color lumens.
Right.
That's not going to help you out. So this is an LCD projector versus a DLP. I think you get a little bit more light out of LCD. You don't have to use a color wheel like you do on DLP, which could cut down the light.
Right.
So I think that this, for this kind of project, is right, but you have to think of all these things.
Yes,
there are a lot of great projectors out there. These are ultra short throws. They're normally used in classrooms, and we're using them for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
We also have these huge Epsons, as projectors just get so crazy these days. And they are 7,500 lumen projectors, and they have we threw them 117 feet onto a building recently to projection map a building. So it's really important to know what projector you're using and have all those factors before you start looking at Elite screens, right?
I always say that, first off, Epson, they'll put a really good projector in your hands for a really good price. And there are general rules you can follow, but yeah, it's always good to kind of size up your projector. It's your more expensive item you're going to buy, and then find a screen material that's going to best accompany it. It's not putting the wagon before the horse. You're right, that's a good step. Once you have your projector secured, the next question is, how are you going to get a material that's going to best enhance your picture? And of course, that's where we come in. As a manufacturer, we're responsible for educating. That's why we set up things like blogs, different social media, articles and such, that just kind of tell you the ins and outs of what should I use, when should I use it, this is how I want to have it done, what do you recommend?
Are there projection screens that can do rear and front projection, or is really only one or the other?
It's interesting you ask. We just launched a new product, and anybody who visits our website at www.elitescreens.com, it comes right up. You can go on the homepage. We have all the different product categories, but we have this fantastic outdoor screen that'll go either way for you. And that's great if you're doing like a large media event or any kind of outdoor party. They'll be able to see the image from both angles. You can put it in the middle of the room, project on the front of it. People here will see it, people in the back will see it. As long as they don't mind seeing it in reverse, but still you get your
Might have been cool to do that here. That would have been pretty awesome, because then the people downstairs, instead of seeing like a great background, would have seen the projection.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do that for next year.
I think I'm just going to have to hook you up with one of those.
I would love that. Thank you very much. You know what's cool is that these screens, thank you, that's really awesome. These screens were waiting. We ordered them a couple days before. They were waiting for us at the hotel when we got here. They were perfectly packaged, no issues. And so, you know, it's really been a great experience. And again, I can't say enough to the customer service experience, walking through what we should do and when we should do it and all that. And, you know, just asking those little questions. Couldn't we cut it if we have to, which we wound up having to do here because it was a little bit too long. And, you know, what can we do here, there? And, you know, what about this lighting? What about that lighting? And it's really been a phenomenal experience.
I appreciate that.
Tell me the story of Elite Screens. How did the company get started?
Well, Elite Screens started by veteran AV people who we worked mainly with projectors, and there wasn't much of a selection for people who were buying these. Projectors were kind of dropping in price, and more everyday people were saying, hey, projector, it sounds like fun, I want one. But they didn't really have a good option as far as nice screens to choose from. It was still a high dollar item that in many cases you're paying more for your screen than the projector itself, and that seemed insane. So when we built up the company, we went for really the most commonly requested sizes, aspect ratios, and said, okay, now that we know generally what the people are looking for, let's give them the performance that they're not expecting. And that's when we really took the ball and ran with it. We started off with the generic matte white screens that everybody has, and now we're using these ambient light rejecting materials that the light's on or off, you're going to get this television screen performance, and not just that, but consider the price of an 84 or 100-inch flat panel TV. You can have bigger than that, this bigger than life experience for a small fraction of that cost.
And you could easily motorize it and have it come down on a motor and come up on a motor. You can do all sorts of other things.
We make those. We have motorized and fixed frames for those. And really, if I was going to talk to somebody who is thinking about getting a screen, I would say, well, now that you're all out of excuses, what can I get for you?
I think that's the great answer, and I'm just thinking now we could build a motorized box here, put it in a nice cargo case to travel, hang it up and let it drop down, and wouldn't that be a good idea?
That's an awesome option.
Yeah.
And I could show you later all the different ideas. These are kind of our top secret skunkworks projects that we're working on.
Oh, I'd love to see that stuff.
Yeah.
How many different screen materials are there? Because in my mind, until we started looking at this, I didn't realize there were that many screen materials, and I do realize that I think projector screens are the biggest reason why people don't like projectors.
Right.
Because projectors are really awesome, and I know that from using them a lot now.
Right.
And I think that sometimes they get a bad rap because of the screens and because people walk in front of the screens and all that. But there's so much great stuff that can be done with all sorts of kinds of projectors these days.
Yeah.
There's all this technology, and laser is out there, and LED, and all sorts of great projection, and you get these Pico projectors.
Right.
You can really have a lot of fun. You could go into a hotel room with your kids and have a projection, you can watch a movie right on your laptop. So
there's almost limitless
really
applications.
Yeah, but so how many fabrics are there?
I would literally have to sit down and comb through all the different types of fabrics we make for different occasions.
So, I mean, it really is, it's a lot, right?
It's a lot.
Because I thought it was just, well, there's the screen for rear projection, there's a screen for front projection, there's a screen for this size and that size and that size. But other than that, maybe you got one that rejects light a little bit better, one that accepts lights a little bit better, and boom.
Well, yeah, you have things that matte whites are always good. That's always a good general solution. But if you have ambient light issues, there's rear projection materials, there's ambient light rejecting materials, and of those, there's subcategories. We have a material that is dedicated to eliminating over 95% of your overhead lighting, in addition to just filtering out all the off-axis light. Put a little short throw projector in front of it, and this thing bombs you like a television screen with the brightness and the vivid colors.
I mean, one of the coolest products here at CES is this new projector that Sony has, and there are a couple other companies that'll put a 300-inch screen in like 6 inches from your wall, and it's in a nice little cabinet.
Yep.
We've got behind the wall here, these ultra short throws, by the way, are about maybe 24 inches away, 2 feet away from these screens, and these are 10-foot wide by about 7.5 feet tall.
Yeah. I mean, literally anybody can go larger than life now. And that's really what we were accomplishing all along. If you want to do a rear projection, if you want to do an acoustically transparent material like you see in the big movie cinemas, we have that. And you can have that in your house. We have advice on, well, how can I maximize it? How can I really professionally do this? I mean, we really want all of our customers informed so they know exactly what they're doing, and we'll answer those questions that they're afraid to ask. They go on a forum, ask these questions, they're going to get trolled. They ask us, we're not only going to give them the info, we're going to give them more than they asked for.
I think the most important thing is to ask questions. You don't want to because you're embarrassed. That's silly, because the only way get an answer and to know what you're doing and to learn is to ask the question. And the reality is that unfortunately there are people who do troll, but I think that going right to you guys is the way to do it, because you answer all the questions and you have all the answers and you can really help and be helpful. EliteScreens.com, how did you get to the company?
I was one of the originals. Actually, the owner of the company recruited me directly. He said I needed a marketing guy that had some media connections, and I was happy to go in there and take the ball. I've been with the company now for over 10 years, and it's been a really good ride. It's been a lot of fun to watch us rise from this small operation in Orange County, California, to this, we're now one of the world leading brands in projection screens. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's really awesome. Congratulations on what you're doing and everything.
Very much.
Thank you so much for making our set look so beautiful. Look at that. We're at the Bellagio right now.
Yeah, it's
unreal.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, you're tuned in to BeTerrific with continuing official coverage of CES 2017.